My name is Emily Carter, and before that night, I believed family gatherings were supposed to feel safe. Warm. Predictable. I didn't know how wrong I was until I watched my daughter walk toward me with her head down, holding back tears she didn't deserve. The invitation arrived 3 weeks earlier, thick ivory paper sealed in a navy envelope. It announced Nathan Hale's 40th birthday celebration at his Westchester estate. Everything about it felt formal, polished, expensive. But the line that convinced me to go was printed neatly at the bottom. Children welcome. Nathan was my husband Ryan's older brother. Confident, successful, admired. His wife, Vanessa, came from serious money. Old money. The kind that didn't need to explain itself. We didn't see them often, but this felt like an olive branch. A chance to reconnect. The drive took almost 3 hours. Lucy sat quietly in the back seat, smoothing the fabric of her navy dress again and again. We'd bought it on clearance, but it fit her perfectly. She had chosen it herself. Mom, she asked softly, does this look okay? I turned around and smiled. You look beautiful. She smiled back, but it was nervous. Lucy was 10. Smart. Gentle. The kind of child who noticed everything but spoke carefully, like she didn't want to take up too much space. When we reached the estate, the iron gates opened slowly, almost ceremonially. Luxury cars lined the circular driveway. Valets moved with practiced ease. Our Subaru looked out of place, like it didn't belong in the frame. Inside, the house was stunning. Crystal chandeliers. Marble floors. Soft music floating through the air. Guests stood in elegant clusters, laughing quietly, dressed in tailored suits and designer gowns. Lucy's hand slipped into mine. Vanessa spotted us immediately. Emily, she said, air-kissing my cheek. Her smile was sharp, controlled. Her eyes moved quickly, taking everything in. You made it. Then her gaze shifted to Lucy. It paused at her shoes for just a second too long. And this must be Lucy, Vanessa said. She's grown so much. Hello, Lucy replied politely. Vanessa smiled, thin and tight. Such good manners. A server passed by with champagne flutes. None came our way. We were guided away from the center of the party. Past the string lights. Past the live band. Past the tables filled with laughter and attention. Our table sat near the edge of the terrace, close to a service door. The lighting was dimmer there. The music barely reached us. This area is quieter, Vanessa said smoothly. Better for children. Lucy leaned closer to me. Why are we sitting back here? It's just where our table is, I whispered, even though we both knew that wasn't the real reason. Dinner felt endless. Plates arrived late. Servers rarely stopped by. Conversations never reached us. Lucy tried to stay cheerful, but I could see her shrinking, little by little, every time she noticed the looks from passing guests. After a while, she stood up. I need to use the restroom. Okay, sweetheart, I said. 10 minutes passed. Then 15. When Lucy finally returned, I knew something was wrong immediately. Her eyes were red. Her shoulders hunched forward. She didn't look at me as she slid back into her chair. Lucy? I asked gently. What happened? She shook her head, biting her lip. Vanessa appeared almost instantly, as if she had been waiting. Oh dear, she said softly. Is everything all right? Lucy hesitated, then whispered, some girls said my dress looked old. They asked if I got it from a costume store. Nearby conversations quieted. A few guests turned to look. Vanessa sighed and crouched slightly, her concern carefully performed. Sweetheart, children here are raised a little differently. Their parents have expectations. She straightened and looked at me. Emily, I probably should have clarified the dress standards. It helps avoid misunderstandings. Lucy's fingers tightened around my sleeve. Then Vanessa leaned closer, her voice dropping just enough to cut. This party isn't for kids like yours. Lucy broke. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing, her small body shaking against mine. Across the terrace, Nathan laughed loudly, glass raised high, completely unaware, or choosing not to notice. Ryan stood beside me. Silent. Still. I recognized that stillness. Something had just changed. For a few seconds, everything around us seemed frozen. The music continued playing somewhere in the distance, glasses still clinked, laughter still floated across the terrace, but at our table, time slowed. Lucy's sobs were quiet but unstoppable, the kind that come from deep embarrassment rather than loud pain. I held her tightly, my jaw clenched so hard it ached. I wanted to leave. Right then. To grab my daughter, walk straight through the crowd, and never look back. Ryan didn't move. He stood beside us, calm and unnervingly still. I knew that posture. I had seen it years ago, the day his former business partner lied to his face and smiled while doing it. Ryan didn't react loudly to injustice. He observed it. Measured it. And then acted when the timing was exact. Vanessa remained standing in front of us, arms folded loosely, her expression shifting from concern to irritation. I really didn't mean to upset her, she said lightly. I was only trying to explain that different environments come with different expectations. I looked up at her. You humiliated my child. Vanessa sighed, as if I were the inconvenience. Emily, please. This is a sophisticated event. These children are raised with certain standards. It's not cruelty, it's culture. Ryan finally moved. He knelt down in front of Lucy, blocking Vanessa from her view. His voice was soft, steady. Hey. Look at me. Lucy sniffed and nodded. You didn't do anything wrong, he said. Not one thing. She whispered, they said I didn't belong here. Ryan's jaw tightened for just a moment. You belong wherever you are treated with respect. Vanessa shifted her weight. Ryan, let's not make this dramatic. He stood slowly and turned to face her. Dramatic is insulting a child and calling it culture. At that moment, Nathan finally noticed us. He walked over, confusion etched across his face. What's going on? Vanessa answered before I could. Nothing serious. Just a misunderstanding. Emily's taking things a bit personally. Nathan glanced at Lucy, then at me. Emily, come on. Vanessa's under a lot of pressure tonight. Pressure. That word felt like a slap. Ryan spoke calmly. Your guests mocked our daughter. Your wife told her she didn't belong. Nathan exhaled sharply. Kids tease. It happens. Let's not ruin the evening. That was the moment something in me cracked, not loudly, not visibly, but completely. Ryan nodded once, almost to himself. Okay. He reached into the inside pocket of his jacket and pulled out his phone. Vanessa's eyes flicked to it instantly. What are you doing? Clarifying something, Ryan said. Nathan laughed nervously. Ryan, don't be dramatic. Ryan turned the screen toward Vanessa. Her face drained of color so quickly it was almost shocking. I couldn't see the screen clearly, but I saw her hands tremble. Her lips parted, then pressed tightly together. What is that? Nathan asked. Ryan turned the phone slightly so Nathan could see. Financial transfers. Emails. Donation records. Nathan frowned. From where? Your wife's foundation. The air around us shifted. Conversations nearby slowed. People began to notice the tension spreading outward like a ripple. Vanessa shook her head sharply. This is inappropriate. Ryan didn't raise his voice. So is laundering charitable donations through shell organizations. Nathan stared at her. Vanessa. She stepped back. This isn't the place. Ryan continued, his tone almost gentle. I investigated the foundation last year. Quietly. I flagged irregularities. Federal auditors open a formal investigation on Monday morning. Vanessa's composure shattered. You wouldn't do this. Not here. I already did, Ryan said. The music stopped abruptly. Someone, perhaps sensing the shift, had cut the sound. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. Guests openly stared now. Phones appeared in hands. Whispers spread fast. This is blackmail, Vanessa snapped, her voice sharp with panic. Ryan shook his head once. This is accountability. Nathan looked like the ground had disappeared beneath him. Tell me this isn't true. Vanessa didn't answer. From inside the house, security staff began moving quickly. A distant siren echoed somewhere beyond the gates. Lucy clung to my arm. Mom? I bent down, brushing her hair back. It's okay. We're leaving. Ryan turned to me. We don't need to stay another second. We gathered our things and began walking away. As we passed through the crowd, eyes followed us. Some curious. Some judgmental. Some afraid. The party behind us unraveled in real time, elegance collapsing under truth. Lucy looked up at me as we stepped into the night air. Did I make everyone mad? I knelt in front of her, holding her face gently in my hands. No, sweetheart. You told the truth without even speaking. Ryan opened the car door. As we drove away, the estate grew smaller in the rearview mirror, lights flashing, order dissolving. Lucy rested her head against my shoulder. For the first time that night, she slept. The fallout didn't wait for morning. By the time we reached home, my phone was already vibrating with messages I didn't want to read. Missed calls from unknown numbers. Notifications stacking up faster than I could clear them. Ryan didn't say much as he pulled into our driveway. His focus stayed forward, jaw set, hands steady on the wheel. Lucy slept through it all. I carried her inside, careful not to wake her, and laid her on her bed. She curled onto her side instinctively, clutching the sleeve of the dress that had caused so much damage. I didn't change her. I didn't have the heart. Downstairs, Ryan finally spoke. It's going to get loud. I nodded. I know. By morning, it was everywhere. News vans lined the entrance to the Hale estate. Headlines used words like fraud, elite charity scandal, socialite under investigation. Vanessa's name appeared in bold letters beneath photos taken from events much like the one we'd attended, her smile flawless, her confidence untouchable. Until now. Lucy stayed home from school. She said she didn't feel sick, but I knew better. Emotional bruises don't show on the skin, but they ache just as much. We spent the day quietly. She colored at the kitchen table. Ryan answered a few calls, all short, all controlled. By afternoon, the house felt heavier, like something unresolved was sitting between the walls. That night, Lucy broke the silence. Mom? She asked, her voice small. Yes, honey. Why did those girls care so much about my dress? I took a breath. Because some people are taught to measure others instead of understanding them. She thought for a moment. Does money make people mean? Ryan answered before I could. Money doesn't change people. It just gives them more space to be who they already are. Lucy nodded slowly, absorbing that in the careful way she absorbed everything. 2 days later, Nathan called. Ryan didn't answer. The next afternoon, there was a knock at the door. I looked through the window first. Nathan stood on our porch alone. No tailored suit. No confident smile. Just a man who looked like he hadn't slept in days. Ryan opened the door but didn't invite him in. I didn't know, Nathan said immediately. About the foundation. About any of it. Ryan crossed his arms. You didn't ask. Nathan swallowed. Vanessa handled everything. I trusted her. I stepped forward. You trusted her over your own family. Nathan's eyes flicked toward the staircase. How's Lucy? She's healing, I said. Something you didn't help with. Nathan's shoulders sagged. I should have stopped her. I should have said something that night. Yes, I said quietly. You should have. Silence stretched between us. They froze our accounts, Nathan said. The house is under review. Lawyers are everywhere. Ryan's voice was flat. That's what happens when lies catch up. Nathan rubbed his face. I didn't think she was capable of this. I met his eyes. She was capable of humiliating a child. Everything else shouldn't surprise you. Nathan nodded slowly, tears gathering. I lost everything. Ryan didn't flinch. You lost illusions. That's different. Lucy watched from the stairs, unseen by Nathan. After he left, she came down quietly. Is Uncle Nathan bad? I knelt in front of her. No. But he made a choice not to protect you. She considered that. Will he protect someone else next time? I don't know, I admitted. But you protected yourself by telling the truth. A week passed. Vanessa's attorney released a statement. Charges were pending. More donors came forward. More evidence surfaced. The image she'd built so carefully collapsed piece by piece. One evening, Lucy surprised me. Mom, she said, holding up the navy dress. Can I wear this to the school recital? My heart tightened. Only if you want to. She smiled softly. I do. That's when I realized something important. They didn't break her. They tried, but they failed. And the worst part for them? Lucy would grow up remembering exactly who stood up for her. And who didn't. Time has a way of exposing what people try hardest to hide. In the weeks that followed, life slowly found a new rhythm. Not the same as before, something had shifted permanently, but steadier. Quieter. Safer. The house felt lighter, like we had let go of a weight we didn't realize we were carrying. Lucy returned to school. The first morning back, she stood in front of the mirror longer than usual, adjusting her hair, smoothing her clothes. I watched silently from the doorway, afraid to interrupt whatever courage she was gathering. You don't have to go today, I offered gently. She shook her head. I want to. When she came home that afternoon, she didn't say much. But she smiled. A real one. And that was enough. News about Vanessa continued to unfold in waves. More donors stepped forward. More records surfaced. Each headline stripped another layer from the image she had built so carefully. The woman who once ruled rooms with quiet superiority now avoided cameras, avoided statements, avoided responsibility. Nathan moved out of the estate. He sent one message to Ryan. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. Ryan never replied. Not out of cruelty. Out of clarity. One evening, as autumn settled in, Lucy sat at the kitchen table working on her recital program. She slid a piece of paper toward me. Can you help me practice? I nodded, reading the title aloud. Solo performance? She smiled nervously. Yeah. What are you wearing? I asked. She reached into her backpack and pulled out the navy dress. The same one. I hesitated. Are you sure? Lucy looked up at me, steady and calm in a way that surprised me. They don't get to decide what I stop wearing. My throat tightened. The night of the recital arrived quickly. The school auditorium buzzed with parents, teachers, and nervous kids waiting their turn. Lucy stood backstage, clutching her music sheets. Ryan crouched beside her. You ready? She nodded. A little scared. That's okay, he said. Brave people are scared too. When Lucy walked onto the stage, the lights softened everything. She took her place, straightened her shoulders, and began. She didn't rush. She didn't falter. She owned the space. I felt tears slide down my face as I realized something profound. That dress wasn't a reminder of humiliation anymore. It had become armor. Applause filled the room. Lucy bowed, smiling brightly. Afterward, as we walked to the car, she slipped her hand into mine. Mom? Yes, sweetheart. I think some people thought I was small, she said thoughtfully. But I'm not. No, I replied. You never were. That winter, the final news broke quietly. Vanessa accepted a plea deal. No grand statements. No dramatic courtroom scenes. Just a closing chapter written in fine print. Nathan sold the estate. Ryan turned down several interview requests. He never explained what he did. He didn't need credit. He only needed one thing to be clear. No one gets to make our child feel small. Months later, Lucy hung her recital photo on her bedroom wall. Right next to it, she taped a note she wrote herself. Belonging isn't something you earn. It's something you carry. I read it once. Then again. Sometimes power doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes it doesn't raise its voice or demand attention. Sometimes power looks like a parent standing still. A child choosing confidence. A family walking away without regret. And sometimes, the strongest response to cruelty is refusing to let it shape who you become. If this story stayed with you, take a moment to like it, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Revo Tales, where every story reminds us that dignity is never optional.